Yeah, I've got a grant that we should do first.
Yeah, he has a grant to submit, and then the larger portion of his presentation is to talk about a community vaccination center. So you want to take care of the grant?
Yep.
First.
Good morning, commissioners. I am Bob Dowd, the director of the Department of Emergency Services. First thing I have for you this morning is to accept a grant from the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency in the amount of $79,024.41. This grant goes towards the maintenance and connectivity of our shared phone system between us and York County.
Okay. Seek a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the grant for the communications.
And I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the $79,000 grant. Jamie?
Just mention here, and I know Commissioner Ames often brings it up, this is a continuation of the partnership we have with York County, sharing some services and ultimately saving some money because FEMA awards that kind of cooperation with these grants.
Yeah, the maintenance portion of that grant, which is just shy of $60,000, is something that we would be paying ourselves if we weren't sharing that system with somebody else. So,
excellent.
Good job.
As always, yes. We have a motion and a second to on the floor. Is there any further discussion or comment? If not, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. So moved. All right.
all right, the next thing I have is an ask that the commissioners enter into a lease agreement with Seritage Growth Properties for the property located at 1745 Quentin Road, which is the former Kmart building. We would like to lease this building to use it as the community vaccination site for the foreseeable future for all vaccinations around COVID-19. It's about 120,000 square feet, and the intent of this site is to be a multi-provider site where we would have multiple different healthcare providers coming in to actually do the vaccinating. We want to remove as many roadblocks as we can, give them the site, give them all shared resources, and make it as turnkey as possible for those that are getting the vaccine, so we can make it happen quickly for Lebanon County. The amount of the lease agreement is $60,000, which is a 4-month lease, and then it will turn into a month-to-month lease after that, and we will be able to keep it for as long as necessary to get everybody vaccinated.
Talk about reimbursement for that.
Yes, this should all be reimbursed by the federal government through public assistance. They actually have a mechanism for us to get some of that money prior to even spending it. We're working through that process right now. I don't want to guarantee that's going to happen, but either way, we will be getting that money back either before or after it's spent. And that's all costs that we incur with that site. So everything from network connectivity to garbage removal to security, all costs that we incur associated with the site will be reimbursed through this program.
Commissioner Litz.
Yes, I have 3 questions. They're short. First of all, the lease agreement, I believe, says March 4th through June 30th. Will we get the keys today?
I hope so, because it is time sensitive, and I'll go in a little more detail about timeline, but the idea is to get the keys as soon as possible so that we can get in and start prepping the location.
Okay. Then the second question is, what will our hours of operation be?
So let me answer that with some broader information about the site. So this site, like I said, is intended to be a large multi-provider site. It could be capable of running thousands of people through a day, but the bottom line is the rate limiting factor here, what's going to slow us down is vaccine supply. When we turn this site on, I still don't have a definitive date yet, because once again, we don't have that vaccine. When we turn this on, the hours of operation are going to be very dependent on vaccine availability and how the providers are able to schedule that. I would estimate that initially it's only going to be a day or 2 a week, and might be for 4, 8, 6, somewhere in there hours a day. The long-term goal is to run it for 14 hours a day, 6 days a week. So at that would be our full capacity, 14 hours a day, 6 days a week.
Okay, so it'll progressively get more as more vaccine comes in.
Yep, just dependent on supply.
Okay. And do the suppliers have to be from Lebanon County, or if they have clients or patients in Lebanon County, can they set up?
We are working with a number of different vaccine providers to be a part of this site. One of them is Hershey Pharmacy, one of them is Welsh Mountain, one of them is Wellspan, one of them is
UPMC maybe?
no, CNS Protects out of Litz, excuse me, which is, they're currently doing a vaccine site in Litz, and they called us and said they'd be interested in partnering with us in this. So anybody that's able to participate and willing to, we're going to bring them in.
Okay. All righty.
Yeah.
That being said, I'll make a motion to get this on the floor unless others.
Oh, that's fine. Make the motion.
I so move to enter into an agreement with Seritage Growth Properties to rent the Kmart building so that we can operate a coronavirus vaccine center, mass center.
I'll second the motion, Mr. Chairman, but I also have several questions
Right.
and comments.
Go ahead, Bill. Yes.
First of all, I'm very reluctant to agree to this this lease because I think it needs about 3 more pages of the minuscule print that this one presently has.
It was hard to read.
Yeah. That's about a size 4 font, isn't it?
Yeah, well, for a person that's legally blind, first of all, it's a lot of garbage, most of it. It's ridiculous. But anyway, that's, of course, trying a little bit of the Ames humor there, which I know all of you appreciate.
It's an acquired taste, yes.
Yeah, it keeps it. Yeah, again, you folks have been around it long enough to acquire it. So my other concern is that we have all these medical providers in here sticking needles in people's arms. Are they all going to be required to sign a release, releasing the county of any liability from people that get sick or die from these vaccinations?
I'm not aware of anybody getting sick or dying from the vaccination.
No, that's not my question, Bob.
Well, we can have them sign a release if that's your concern.
That's my concern. I'm unwilling to approve this without being assured that we have a release from each one of these providers.
We can get a release.
I believe don't they usually provide you with a copy of like an insurance, like their insurance company would send us that they're first in line kind of thing?
Just a key understanding with this site, though, is that Lebanon County government is not going to be registering at this point and dealing with the scheduling and management of the patient. So this is just a site where the vaccine providers have a location large enough to handle the volume of vaccine that they want to be able to distribute.
I understand that, but I'm also familiar with litigation. And just the mere fact that this is referred to as Lebanon County's vaccination site and will continue to do that, you know that we're going to be linked as providing these services. And I just want our tails covered.
Understood. We will. I will sit down with our solicitor and we will form a release of some kind and make it happen.
But from a medical standpoint, we have no responsibility. That's what I'm looking for. Okay.
So we have a motion and a second on the floor to enter this lease. And without further any questions, we will enter the motion now. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Right?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
All right, the final thing I have is an ask that the commissioners sign a memorandum of understanding with Wellspan Health, who is going to be the primary provider at this vaccine site. And this is basically an agreement that outlines some broad responsibilities and, you know, real high level. Each vaccine provider is responsible for everything within their vaccine operation. We're going to take on anything that is site-centric and not specific to the vaccine provider. So, and that's how this agreement's written. We're going to manage things like, parking and traffic flow and site security. The vaccine providers manage things like scheduling, making sure that the vaccine's there and making sure all medical requirements are met. And they manage management of the vaccine, so storage and transportation of that. It's a fairly straightforward memorandum of understanding. Happy to answer any
You by
questions.
solicitor already, I'm assuming?
Yeah,
Okay,
Oh, I thought I was muted. Sorry.
all right. Is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to, that we enter into a memorandum of understanding with Wellspan for the provision of these services.
And I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. The only comment, I guess, was missed is my name is misspelled, but that I'd like for the.
Oh, yes, it is.
Great.
Yes, Jamie.
I just want to mention that aside from what Commissioner Ames has asked for earlier, Wellspan was the only provider that asked for an MOU at this point. But we could potentially take this language from this MOU or something similar to it, develop it for each of the providers. And so before they start, we could have an MOU just like this in place and have something inserted in it for
Liability.
for liability.
That's a perfect idea, really is.
Commissioner Litz, did you have a question?
Oh, well, it wasn't really a question, just a comment. I want to commend Bob Dowd and our Emergency Management Agency, or DES at this point, and Jamie as well, for being consistent and making sure that our staff is trained and that we all participate in exercises, and you are prepared. And this is going to ease a lot of anxiety on a lot of people in Lebanon County, knowing that they can get in and get a vaccine, and that there will be hours outside of work and all that sort of thing. And, you've just really behind the scenes, you weren't splashing it out front in advance, gaining a lot of media coverage, but I think you deserve the kudos at this time. So thank you.
Appreciate that.
Okay, all in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, I have a few more comments about the vaccine site, just stuff that everybody should be aware of, and I want to manage expectations right out of the gate. We're signing this lease agreement, we're getting things turned on. It's still going to be several weeks, if not a little bit longer, until this is actually a thing where you can go. And even when it is, it's still going to be by appointment only. This is not going to be a walk-up vaccine site because there's no way to manage that vaccine. There's not enough vaccine supply to support that type of model yet. With the changes that the state just made to how the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is going to be delivered, that one shot was great for things like this because you don't have to worry about that second appointment, but we will still be worried about that for the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. I just want to make sure that that's clear that at this point, it's going to be appointment only. We are going to be sending out regular emails with information to anybody that wants to get them. The signups are live on our website right now. So anybody who wants to sign up to be notified as things progress, they're welcome to do so.
And the IU-13 would have an option to be part of this mass vaccination site to inoculate teachers?
The IU-13, that program is happening directly through the state. We have no part of that. If they were looking for a spot to go to do it, this could absolutely accommodate that. But at this point, they haven't reached out to us and made that request.
Understood. But that was the point I was making, that we do have room for them if they so need a site.
Absolutely.
Okay, Robert, thank you. And I did enjoy your participation the other day in the chamber with Wellspan, with Stephanie. That was very informative. I think a lot of people heard a lot of good stuff, and this continues to roll out, good information and not getting too far ahead of ourselves with, the supply chain issue. So thank you. Anything else for the good from you, Bob?
All I have. Thank you.